I'm going to just very quickly introduce JP, but first I just kind of wanted to say a few things just to introduce this session. Personally, I'm very happy, very pleased to be up on stage introducing this next presentation, which is actually more of a demonstration. 2 years ago, I was at a session like this. I did a presentation as the head of the corporate part of our business. I recognise a few faces that were there probably on those days. And I suggested, as we were looking at the systems and the data that we use in our corporate side of the business, that we could explore how we may evolve the systems of data to the benefit of our partner agents. And the feedback was pretty positive. So we decided that we should go ahead and do that. Since then, a lot's changed. We've got different owners, as David explained this morning. I've got a different job, and I've got different group colleagues, and I'll introduce one shortly. Those changes, those things have come together and have really meant that we're now in a position to be able to deliver on some of the thought from back then, and I'm pretty excited to be able to show you what we've done. First, what we've spent a bit of time doing is, as Simon has alluded to, working on systems like Retrol, like Camelbeek, which are going to allow us to, and already are, and I was at the McCarthy and Stone pitch personally. These things will make a big difference to the amount of PX in particular, PX work that we win over the coming years. Very different to what our competitors do, but it's in a very different light. Particularly with Retrol, which is reintroducing missed part exchange opportunity back as new home sales. And when your PX manager, your PX asset manager starts introducing new sales for you, then we're seen in a very different light. Retrol is literally every single week, most days, generating sales back into our major developers. And I'll be honest with you, maybe they don't need sales right now as much as they have done in previous markets. You know, they don't have a stock problem, maybe like some of the rest of us, but making a huge difference, being very well received, and we've got huge amounts of business development opportunity on the back of that. And PX app is being finished. You saw a diagram of it, very similar to what we're going to show you now, but we're putting iPads on sites, and again, we're sort of dragging some developers into this century, if I'm honest. And again, these are things that they're not doing themselves. We're offering different services, we're offering a different spin, and we're investing in it. And as Simon said, McCarthy and Stone, a big one, some Crest regions, Bellway, these things are making a big difference. And our view was, let's get some more corporate instructions into the network. First, using a lot of the same systems, the same processes, same engines. But now we are ready to unveil our first agency tool off the production line, which is Marketapp. I just wanted to say a few things to make it clear what this thing is, what it does, before JP comes up and does a demonstration. And we'll be showing you it working. And at lunchtime, I think you've probably seen the tables with the iPads on them. Go and have a play, because we've got 25 iPads, and that's the purpose of it, so go and put your fingerprints all over them. They're all marked, they're all tracked. We know what you can be like, so, but we've taken the rather unattractive covers off them, so they look quite good at the moment. I'm not concerned. But what is this thing? Okay. This is an obvious statement to the room, but we do recognise the importance of listings to a estate agent and ourselves. We've always been here to benefit our partner agents. We wouldn't still be here 10, 13, 14 years on if we didn't. But what I think we recognise is if we can help you maximise the listings that you win, then there's something in that for us, because ultimately we are a conveyancing business, and the more listings you have, the more opportunity you have to refer those sellers to us for conveyancing. Okay, so there's a bit of a dual motive here, but please look at this as a listing tool. You know, winning listings is difficult because you need to differentiate, and that's difficult when the tools are all the same. I've got some examples here of brochures. You know, everyone does a very good job, but everybody's got a shiny brochure. Everyone's got a shiny brochure, and everyone leaves their shiny brochure on the table with the vendor at the point of the valuation, and everyone takes a Rightmove printout. So the tools are pretty much the same, and we're looking to bring something different and exclusive to the network. Okay, and as I said this morning, it's tough out there. I know some of you would have outperformed the market. I'm sure some of the stats we showed you this morning you can look at quite positively, but that's the reality of what's happening. It is tougher out there. There are less listings to win, so anything that can boost your win rate, your market share, has got to be a good thing. Okay, so what is it? It's an iPad tool, and it's designed to make you stand out and to demonstrate you're leading the way in a competitive marketplace, one that is increasingly online. The rise of online-only estate agents, I think it's massively important that the high street show that they use technology, and I think this will help achieve that. We're going to repeat this again and again. You're going to see this app in a made-up estate agent brand, but this app will be completely in your branding. There's no reference to Move With Us on it. Okay, it's your app, it's your logos, it's your colours. This will look like your app, and so to vendors, the point is, it makes you look not just like an agent who uses technology, but one that invests in it as well. This is your app. And as I said, I think with the rise of online agents, you have to show the vendor that you can give them the best of both worlds, that you're up with technology, and ultimately that you justify your fees. You do more than just list on Rightmove and run a call centre. This is really important. It's fueled by, it contains, and we'll come on to that in a minute, it contains all the local property data. Okay, and that's important. Mark talked about our partnership with home.co.uk, all the local up-to-date property data sitting in that iPad at any one time. That means you can use it to demonstrate your detailed knowledge of the market. We'll show you that. It also means it's available offline, and I'll talk about that in a second. What does it do? It creates an engaging and interactive valuation experience. The way you present on this will be up to you, but ultimately you will do it differently to the other agents that visit the vendor. You will leave them with something that they, I think, will remember. You will also leave them with an interactive tool, because there's a website version that you'll set them up a login. They can go and have a play with one of the screens that they can use when they're making up their mind about who to list with. That's in your branding, to keep you on their mind. It will also tell you when they're using the tool. So you'll know they've logged on, you know they're playing, you know when to contact them again. Okay, and finally, we do believe it's useful. There's an element of show here, turning up, looking good, showing that you're forward-thinking, showing that you invest in technology, showing that you use technology. But we do believe this genuinely will cut down the amount of time needed to prepare a slick valuation presentation. I think it will make the training of inexperienced staff easier. And I think it guarantees a level of consistency in how you represent yourself. So final slide from me. What makes this special? Just to sort of recap, because I think you'll get into the detail of each of the screens, what it does. What makes this different? It's preloaded to work completely offline. Okay, I think that's really important, because ultimately we understood that if it was going to be widely adopted, it had to work in all scenarios. Not all vendors will have Wi-Fi. I think going along when you've just met somebody and asking them for their password is probably a couple of steps too far. So it works offline, it had to. Again, we'll keep saying it, all in your branding, fully customizable content. Your logos, your colour schemes, what the slides say, you'll see on the presentation slides, completely up to you. Valuation can be pre-prepared in an ideal world, but we've built it so it can effectively be started from scratch. Okay? It's there to help in real-life situations. When you turn up to the property and you thought it was an end terrace, but it's a semi-detached. When you turn up to the property and it's been extended and it's now got more bedrooms, and the stuff you printed out on Rightmove goes out the window. It is there to be a friend in the field. Okay? It can adapt to those real-life situations. They happen. Okay? And finally, it is your app. So whilst it has a set of tabs and it has functionality, how you use this thing is completely up to you. I'm not going to stand up here and say, don't take brochures anymore. Replace your glossy brochures. Don't take Rightmove printouts. You'll do all that. You'll work out how to use it. But ultimately, that's absolutely up to you. Okay? So I suppose without further ado, for the proper demonstration, I'm going to invite up my very tall and good-looking colleague. It's a South African accent, if you're wondering. But please give a warm welcome for JP.
Hi everyone. After that build-up, I can hopefully deliver something decent. So Jean-Paul Camelbeek, but all my friends call me JP. And essentially, I'm going to do a couple of minutes as to why I'm here to present the app, and then let's dive into it. I have no graphs. There's no statistics. It's just a live app. I was given the high-risk presentation because tech demos always fail when you're trying to do them live. I've got my wristband on here, and I've been watching my pulse rate, and as Ben's been cranking it through, my pulse rate's steadily been stepping upwards, so let's see how we do. So I've been writing software since I was 8, and apart from a short detour into accounting, I've pretty much been in product tech most of my life. And so in latter years, it's been online and now more lately mobile. And what we did in 2010, 2011 is myself and my business partner, we started a business, Evident Legal, as David mentioned earlier. And over the 4 years, we built this online platform called Simplify the Law, which is all about solving legal problems for small, medium-sized businesses and consumers. And in 2015, though, we were acquired by the Simplify Group. And one of the primary drivers for the acquisition was to inject some of the technology that we'd built and some of our tech skills into the group. And so this is why I'm up here today presenting the application. So it's a beta application. We do our development in 2-week cycles, and literally I got it on Friday. This is my definition of what beta means. And before I got up on stage last week, I said to our dev team, what are the chances that I'm going to get up there and I'm going to make a complete fool of myself? And they were like, no, JP, things are absolutely fine. It's going to work perfectly. Then they sent me this photo, and so we'll see how things work out when we actually come to demo this. So I'm going to walk you through, there's multiple tabs in this application. I'm going to walk you through them sequentially. But that doesn't mean to say that you need to use all the tabs, and it doesn't mean to say that you need to use them sequentially. You can use them in any order that you want, and you can ignore some, you can utilize some. As Ben said, it's a tool for yourselves, and you use it as you want. The things to call out first, as we said before, is that it's branded. In this particular one, this is our made-up company, Prime and Country, but it's branded for you as agents to show to your vendors when you go out to do a listing. There's the logos, there's the details in terms of of your agency, your various portals that you're online with, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And I'll show you a slide shot later of where you set this information. It's really simple. There's a back-end portal. You literally go on, you can capture this information, and then it feeds directly into the device. So let's get into it. What you would do to create a new valuation is you would click off a new valuation tab here. And this is sort of basic information that you need to fill out to populate a valuation. Now, typically what you would do is you would do this in the office, but because all the data is online and inside the device, if somebody calls you and says, look, Greg's sick, please can you go to Mrs. Jones and do the valuation, literally you can head there because all the information in a radius around your particular office will have been downloaded to the device, so you can do it live. I'm not going to bore you while watching me there. I'm just going to click to one that we've done already. And this is the information that we'll sort of see over here. So we've got detached. It's a 3-bed, the postcode, etc. Now, one thing to call out when you go and play with the devices later, please use this postcode. The guys will tell you what it is because that's where we've loaded the data for that we've synced to the devices. Typically what you've done, though, is you've prepared this valuation, and then, right, where's my property? I'm going to attempt to do this attached. Closer? Yeah, just drop it there, that'll be awesome. Tree in front, tree behind? Tree behind, definitely. So here we have a 3-bedroom detached with tree. And so literally as you arrive at the property, having prepared the details either in your car on the way or in the office, you literally shoot yourself a photo. Hello. Don't know about that. Let's try that again. Okay. Need steadier hands to shoot said photo. Use the photo, and then literally it drops into your application. So what we'll see here now is the photo that we've just taken. So that's we'll use as we walk our way through the tabs now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you at the start of each tab what was the purpose of the tab, that when we created it, what we thought it would be useful for. So the first one is the presenter tab, and literally this is where you get to pitch yourself to to the vendor. It's this information that's inserted here in terms of your logo, the generic text, once again the dashboards, the addresses, etc. This is all defined by yourselves, and it's for you to utilize to show the vendor. There's information here about your team. Here we have sort of generic details, mail, numbers, etc. And as we build this application out further, there will be additional tabs that we'll insert into this place. So the next tab along is the market summary. Now this is where what we're showing here is this is detailed information that's live as of the night before of what's going on in your particular area. And it's for you to demonstrate to the vendor that you have detailed knowledge. You already have detailed knowledge, but it brings the statistics that you can show to the vendor. So we have, on market sold, percentage, average number of days. And what we have here is, if you have a look, we've got the 3-bed. We can show for all properties. And so just click that. If I could actually land my finger on it. Okay, ignoring that. Right, moving on. And here I'll pick a different radius. You'll see different amounts of information or feedback on this. This essentially, as you change the drop downs, the data updates live for you. The next one here is the agent performance tab. This tab was designed for you to be able to present yourself in the most favorable light to the vendor, comparing on whatever statistics you want against whichever agents you want to compare yourself to. So literally, it's a table with the statistics. We've got the same information in the top over here. We've got the number of bedrooms, the radius around that postcode, and here we have the agents, and here we have the relevant statistics. So I'm going to say, okay, we want to present ourselves against not all agents, not other agents. I'm going to knock out a few of these. I want to say those 3 agents, and let's pick those as an example. And we save and lock that. And then this is the view that you would present to the vendor when you go for the valuation. You have a discussion about these are the number of properties sold. Clearly, you would not present this view because this would be showing you in a terrible light. Yeah, so we would choose something else where your ratings are considerably better. So we'll shoot for on-share market, something like that. Knock out these 2, and pick something like that where we outperform against our competitors. So. Moving on, we have an online preview tab here. The online preview tab allows you to show immediately what the property would look like when it is listed with yourselves on all the relevant portals that you subscribe to, as well as to your particular website. So what we see here is the property with some generic detail. You've got the photo on Rightmove. We can pick some differing views on Rightmove. So we could do a featured property here, or we could do a detailed listing here. As you can see, some of the fun in the bugs that we need to sort out. And then tapping through the various demo. So we've got here Zoopla on the market. These tabs will be live by the time we come to launch. And then finally, the agent site over here. Right. We've got the rate and compare tab. I like to refer to this as the Tinder tab for property. Anybody know what Tinder is? Show of hands. Is that too much to ask? Okay, yeah, we'll skip forward. So apparently after serious research on Tinder, I didn't do the research, somebody else did the research apparently. This tab was designed to help the vendor engage with, this is my property, these are the competing properties out in the market in a similar sort of price range and of a similar sort of quality. So what we have here is the vendor's property on the left. First step is to kind of do a rating. So we're going to pick a size, we're going to pick a location, and we're going to pick a condition, roughly. This will be something that you sit down and the vendor would do. And then we look at the property on the right, and actually what we've got here is, you see the tracker at the bottom here has a yellow dot, and as you work your way through the properties, we'll notice that the yellow dot kind of moves its way along. We asked the vendor to rate this property, and it's going to be a gut reaction type thing. It's not going to be majorly scientific, but they're going to look at this and go, okay, fair enough. If I tap it, yeah, it's interesting. Actually, I don't think this house is as good as my Lego house over here. I think that's below. And so they swipe down, and what you see is the dot drops in here, next to the pound minus sign. So this is kind of the vendor saying, well, I think this property is worth less than mine. If you tap on this dot, what you'll see is actually the value of it, and and the number of bedrooms. Now, some vendors may go, actually, I want to really get involved with this application. I want to rate every single property here. So I'm going to literally punch on all the details. Yeah, that one's size there, but that one's condition is poor. And actually, I don't think it's as valuable as mine. And literally, we work our way through this. So this one, I'm going to go faster now. Yeah, I don't think this one is as valuable as mine. No, not as valuable as mine. Actually, this one might be as valuable as mine. So we double tap this one. And what we see is that we get a dot appearing here on the equal sign. And then they work their way through it. Oh, the next one, yeah, that's sensible. This one here, it's got no pictures. I've got no way to judge this property, so I'm just going to bin it. So we hit the trash can, and it moves it into the bottom line. This one, I think this is roughly equal to my property. This one, roughly equal. Now this one, I think starts to become more valuable than mine, so we swipe up. This one we're going to put in the trash. This one we're going to swipe up. This one we're going to swipe up. And as you continue, you'll see you're kind of working your way through the properties there. And what the idea is, and it won't always work out perfectly like this, but what the idea is to get to sort of a range here, so that we can kind of narrow the field in terms of this is roughly the competing properties that you think are worth similar sort of amounts to yours, and this is roughly the prices here. So once again, if we tap on these, we can see the pricing, and then it starts to give you some sort of guidance as to where you might try and steer the vendor. Now, what actually happens is once you complete the valuation, you will ask the vendor for their email address, and the system will email them not only the brochure that we saw earlier in the presenter tab here. If I could just actually hit that thing. Come on. So it'll mail them a PDF version of this, as well as login details to what we've just seen here, the rate and compare section. So having received those details, they're then able to go in and play with the application and doing exactly what we've done here, but on a web version. But what the bonus of that is that every time they do that, the system notifies you that they're online playing with it. Now, I wouldn't recommend...
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
When you're doing this bit of plotting, is there a way that you can say to the vendor, look, this is where we're going with? Have you got an idea where you think it should be? So they slide the slide, if you like, to say, yeah, I think 365, well, what do you think? I was thinking, without asking the absolute, what do you want for your house?
Yeah.
Very subtly,
What's the price?
To the point where I'll put this 385.
Okay, thank you. That's useful feedback. I'm going to ask for that at the end as well. No, not at all. It's because it's one thing we learned in our company is that you have to put the first version out there because that brings the ideas, and then the feedback from the network is what actually makes a great product in the end, because it's you that need to utilize it on a daily basis. So what we have here is they get the login details to this, and then they're able to play with this, and the system will notify you. But obviously, we don't want to stalk our vendors, but the idea would be to drop them a call a day later or whatever it is and say, we see that you're online, or how are you coming with our valuation? It's just a trigger to be able to know that they've been engaging, that they've been online. And the final tab is the conveyance tab. So as Ben has already indicated, and you'll see more in his presentation, we're about growing conveyance, and we needed an easy way in order for a vendor to request conveyance. And literally, it's a case of picking a relevant time slot. If they need multiple days, pick another time slot and hit send. And what that does is you will get a message that will be sent to our team. The message will be sent to you, and a message will be sent to the vendor. And the thing to note about that is that it will all be in your branding, so there's no comms coming from Move With Us. The branding gets done as the particular agency. That is the application as it is. I'm going to. There's as Ben said, there's 25 iPads out in the lobby, and we'll get to play with them. And please come and ask me questions. I'd love your feedback. But I'm going to just take you through a couple of slides where we talk a little bit about the back end, so you can see how the system is configured. Right. So we talked about the back end. So this needs to be really easy to set up. So what we've done here, this is just a snapshot of what it's going to look like. But in essence, this you'll see here is you're obviously a subscriber, there's the portals that you're connected with, your branding colors, your team. As an example, a team member leaves, a team member joins, you just come online, you update the information here, it feeds automatically through to the device live. These are logos, photos, etc. that you'll upload. We've already talked about branded email communication, and we'll include opening alerts, so we'll be able to track who's received mails, who's been responding, who's been reading them. The portal dashboard. So this is something that's really relevant for managers and owners, is that once the devices are started to be used in the field, what you'll start getting is you have access to a portal which will show you all the valuations that are being done, valuations outstanding, communications back from the system to clients, logins, etc. So this starts to give you a view of how the team is utilizing the application out in the field and how the vendors are engaging with it. Once again, all branded in your branding. We've already talked about the vendor login in terms of being able to get in, see local, they'll get local market data, so that's essentially the presenter, the market information, and there we'll get the rate and compare, the Tinder app, and you will get notified every time they're in using it. That will be an example of something like that in terms of what they will get to see, but a web version, clearly not a device version. So the next steps. So the target launch date. So target launch date is at the end of January. My dev team are going to kill me for saying that, but at the moment we have them in a dark location, locked away, a little bit kind of like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. And so they deliver code, we send them food. Yeah, and this is how we're able to kind of keep the development cycle moving. There will clearly need to be a setup process to get you on the application, and so please have a conversation with your account managers, and they will take you through that process when we get there. And finally, there will be we try to design this application as simple as possible to use, but clearly there needs to be some form of training, whether it be online, over the phone, in person. We are going to be rolling out loads of additional functionality. Ben's a bit of a taskmaster, so he's got loads of things that we are working on. So the first one is retrawl that we've already talked about a little. And what we'll do here is when you do a listing, but the listing goes to another agency, our systems will be watching for that. And when if that property is still on the market within a defined time frame, then you will get pinged a notice to say property is still on the market, possibly worth reapproaching the vendor to have a conversation. We'll talk about tailored market alerts. So this is, you do evaluation, something changes in the local market, additional properties pop up that are match the specifics of that particular property. System is pinging you as well as the vendor notifications to kind of keep the engagement going. We'll be looking to roll out digital contracts. So the idea here is one visit, one signing. So you literally arrive and vendor says, awesome, I'm so blown away by your utilization of this app, thank you, that's ready to sign today. And it's literally, this is some of the tech that we've been building over the last years. You will fill out the online interview, the contract is produced, and you can sign it digitally there on the pad, and it's done. It's something that's used considerably in lettings, as you'll know, but it's something that we will create. The particulars builder and photos. So the idea here is that you can literally go on the day. So at the moment you can shoot the one photo. The idea will be that you can shoot multiple photos. You can take the particulars there, and then we'll have some sort of stock descriptions and things that you can use to start off the particulars, and actually create the particulars builder there and then on the day, and then it's done. You're ready. You get back to the office that evening. You can get up live that night, presuming obviously that you do the deal with the vendor. Updates are going to be easy. So one of the questions always is, we've got a fleet of iPads out there. How do we get an update out to you? Well, this is some of the tech that we've been using. Literally, when we have a new piece of functionality, it's a case of we push it out to the devices. You'll get a log on in the morning, download, new piece of download happens. Every night we'll be syncing the latest property data to you for your particular area anyway, and so additional functionality is easy to push to you. As we started having the conversation earlier, best development is from user feedback. So please, any feedback, good, bad, additional ideas. As I said earlier, we do a 2-week cycle of dev, and so often good ideas can be dropped into the dev cycle and we can produce them. And that is it for me. I'm going to hand it back to Ben for commercials. Thank you very much.
That's it. That's how it works at the moment. Go and have a play, as we keep saying. Go and have a play. Remember, it's in your brand. It's in your logo. But go and have a play with it. We are looking to capture feedback. We're launching at the end of January, so some small changes can still be made. I think it's a very sensible thing that you were saying. Where'd you start? Do you start at the lowest, or just say, where do you think it is? Let's have a look at those properties around there. So small things like that we can possibly get for launch at the end of January. JP will kill me for that, but what do they call it? Scope creep. Well, you're the client, right? So if there's some good feedback, give it to us. Have a play, and remember, in your branding, we've got 2 example brands set up out there, so you see what it looks like in different colour schemes, etc. But it will be all in your branding. So let's talk commercials, because we need to put a price on this thing. So launch pricing, £100 per office per month. Okay, that's what we're looking to go out with. Here's a key thing. For initial subscribers, we're going to give the iPad away for free with the monthly subscription. So £100 per office per month includes the iPad, one in each office. Now, this is quite key. We will allow you to do multiple unlimited downloads for that office. So if you want to put this app on other devices because you've got other iPads, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. We're not going to charge you additional for that. So you pay 1 license, you can have as many users as you like. But the memory usage on this is quite large. So if you think, great, all my listers have got iPads, because it literally downloads every property that's on the market in your sort of defined local area, and it updates each of those overnight, so you've always got the most up-to-date property on it. It takes up gigabytes. The initial download is a couple of hours, and then actually the overnight ones, because it's a couple of properties going on, a couple of properties going off. So you're not looking at that every night, but it's a large amount of data. To make it available offline, so you can use it wherever you are, and it can be the property type can be changed, etc. It's quite large. So we felt that the hardware piece, and including the hardware piece in this was quite important, at least for the initial launch. So I'm not sure how long we'll keep that going, but for people who effectively get involved for the January launch, it'll be an iPad per office as part of the £100 per month. It's got to be a staged rollout. As JP said, we have to do a bit of training, we have to do a bit of setup. So there'll be an element of first come, first serve. But look, if you're interested in it, just let us know today. We'll come along, we'll get it in your branding so you can see it, and we can go from there. But there will be a list, and we'll have to do that in order. Have a play with yourself. Do give us some initial feedback. Small things, obviously easier than big changes, but there is going to be a lot to come. So the vision is that you will take the iPad along, you will impress your customer, you'll take the photos, you'll do the particulars. You want to get this on quickly? Sign up. We can change your fee. We can do all of that negotiation on it. Get as JP said, very large digital signatures, very common in lettings now. So legally, all binding, right? Sign the contract on the iPad. Let me walk around the house. I'll take some more photos. We can come back on a better day, get some better ones. But you want to get up online now? Let's do this now. Let's agree what we're going to say about your property. Let's go back to the office. Let's press go, and let's get it up on Rightmove. And it will be that simple. And as JP said, we won't have to traipse back round, plugging things in. You'll get an upgrade overnight, download it, new functionality. And we expect to be working on this thing to improve it for months. We need to stay ahead of the market. Other things might come out which kind of compete with it for months. But this is exclusive to the network. And I think right now, hopefully, you can see it should be able to add some value and make you stand out. But have a play. And I think that's it. So lunch and a play on the iPad.
One quick question on that, if that's okay.
Yep.
How would it be in regards to integration of the software with the databases that you will have? So how will that work, integration for that?
For the Rightmove feeds?
Well, for the Jupiter, for example, how will that work in regards to the data fields and uploading and getting information back to the drive?
As you'll see later, we're doing some other things with some of the software providers, actually, so that we'll work the integration out with them. We're integrated, we'll show you something called Safety Net later. We're integrated with Vibra, for example. So we'll go out, Expert Agent, Repeat, etc. Get integrated once, and then it just turns on for everybody who's on that particular platform. But we're probably talking about, I think, March, April by the time we get to online uploading. But that's not to stop us getting a system that can effectively take all the particulars, etc., and get them back to you via email, etc. Yeah, no, so that's the point. So we'll go out to, there's 5 or 6 off the shelf. We're already working them, as you'll see this afternoon, with other systems that we have. So we do one bit of integration with Dupix and their...
When would we be able to physically go out in the field and use it if we've got those resin tubes?
So the version you've got at the moment that doesn't allow you to put a property online when you get back to the office, we working straight away. All the stats you need will be based on the portal, so you'll be able to log on and see all of that stuff. Further integration will happen, so if you want to create a valuation on Dupix and then it appears on the app, that's where we'll be going over the next few months, if that makes sense. But it's designed to be standalone, so it can be used straight away. I think when you look at it, out there, I think you'll see that. This is your app, the data on it's yours. We will talk to you, and I'll show you later how we could use this collectively, but it's your data, so it'll have to be with your permission. We're looking to, this sort of thing, we're looking to be quite technology focused, so we're not going to run a call centre to chase listings for you. That will be up to you. What we are going to do is ping you an alert, because it's easy, once it's developed, to say, did you know that property's gone on the market with somebody else? And we can also ping you an alert to say, did you know it's had a price reduction? Did you know it's got to 6 weeks? It's now 12 weeks. It's been withdrawn, it's had an agency change. We can ping you those alerts, because that technology already exists in Retrawl. We're already using that technology in another part of our business. So that's easy, it's free. We can just roll that out in here. What you choose to do with that information, they're your clients. These are your valuations. If we work with you on conveyancing, then we'll have conversations, and I'll show you later how that could be valuable. It has to be in partnership. We can't take data protection, we can't take your client's data and start approaching them for other things. So go and grab some lunch and have a play and ask some questions. JP's around. We've got a team here who know it inside out. Thank you very much.